Well, here we go on blame. Blaming me, blaming you, the blame game. What is it about the blame game that's so attractive? It's so fascinating. It's like, ooh, I can't wait to make you my problem. I can't wait to figure out all the ways you're so fucked up. And if I just change you, I'll feel better. And you see how delusional that is? I mean, I mock it in that voice for that specific reason, because the whole idea that I could change you to make myself feel better is fucking ludicrous. It doesn't change anything. Now, let's be really honest. There's a lot going on out there that's really disturbing if you let it be. And I can sometimes let it be. There are times I don't want to let it be disturbing, but there are other times that it has seriously disturbed my sorry ass. Anyway, so I'd love to sit in thinking about, what can I say to put myself out there and really persuade people to change or make them see the light or some other form of control or playing general manager of the universe. And let me say that from my experience, that never works. This, me taking 5 minutes to talk about myself, which I love doing, by the way, is much more effective and it's much more persuasive because I do have some knowledge and experience in looking at things that are disturbing and trying to find equilibrium and trying to find solutions and trying to put a lighter stance on things, even the biggest things out there that a lot of people are struggling with, politics, racism, sexism, the workplace, powerlessness, society as we know it, culture, global relations, whatever your shtick is, climate change, there's a lot of things that are shifting and moving, and this is all good, but it's probably going to feel awful for a little while. So in this period where things are feeling awful, I see so many people just trying to shove at it. You know what I mean? Let me take this thing because seriously, it's awful because it's that thing that needs changing and it's awful. And so let me blame that thing as the source of the problem. And if I could just take my individual will and push against that thing, then I can do something different. When in reality, it's kind of like, for me, that type of approach ends up going into a downward spiral, as opposed to if I start from the center of me, I'm more like, the grid in Paris of arrondissements. They have the Ile de la Cité, which is arrondissement 1 in the middle, and then the spiral kind of goes out like this. So you can analogize it to throwing a pebble in the water and then it vibrates out, right? But there's a center to the spiral. There's a pebble that actually sinks down. And so for me, the genesis of change is not to blame bigger things and not to press against trying to change those things, but to look at those things within me and look at myself as the center of the problem, right? And the problem is how I contribute through my limited thinking, through my fears to these things, whatever they may be. And to decide for myself, if I really want change, what am I willing to do differently? What am I willing to say? How am I willing to act? I have a friend and who's trying to change some of her frustration around how she works, and she's like, "Oh, okay, well, I'm willing to do this and I'm willing to do that." And I'm like, "What about specific behavior change? Are you willing to mess around with the way that you doing things? Are you willing to push against the edge of your own comfort zone and say, well, okay, so maybe if I talk too much and my mouth gets me in trouble, I should learn how to shut the fuck up." But those things are almost too simple and they go over the heads of the most intelligent people. It's phenomenal. Oh, let me focus on changing the world and I'll develop this thing and create this course and be really big in my approach. And it's no, man, just throw the pebble in the water. Start out on the Ile de la Cité, and spiral out. Ask yourself, what are the things you're doing on a daily basis to change your life, right? If you're overweight and unhappy in your body, can you just take a walk to the corner instead of getting in the car? Can you, if you're frustrated in your relationships, can you start to ask yourself, what are the things that you are doing in that relationship, communicatively, emotionally, and how you show up to change? And then are you willing to make slight shifts on a daily basis to changing those things, right? You are the root and the source. I am the root and the source of all that ever is, was, or will be within me. And that's all I have the power to change. And if I happen to be fortunate, blessed, tapped into like a divine source, then everything I do to change myself can actually ripple out, can spiral out. I can have a bigger effect than just the local air I breathe, than just this beingness that is Nicole, which is wonderful and special and unique and yada, yada, yada. But I'm not enough of myself until I'm enough in the world. And I don't mean that from a place of low self-esteem. I mean that from a place of like the greatest usefulness in my intentions. Okay? So, blame. You find yourself being miserable, nasty, feeling aggravated, frustrated because there's all these things wrong in the world and you want to blame them and sit back and watch how negative it all is and continue to blame it and continue to feel like shit. You want to change that? You're ready to change that? You're done with being stuck? Then message me or email me at nicole@nicoledevlin.com. Thanks for joining me on a Saturday. Hope all is well and have a good day.